Welcome to the Midwest. It is an absolutely beautiful day here in the Midwest. I'm out walking, getting some steps in. I want to answer a question that I recently have received, and it's just a very simple question: is what does breath work do? And to answer that question, I need to explain that there are really three kinds of breath work. So it's not just like there's just one thing. It's a lot of times people think there is just this one thing, but really there's three different kinds of breath work. Before I get started, I just want to invite you to, click like, subscribe, all those other things. Really helps the channel. I hate to have to beg, but help me out here. And if you would like to get into breathwork sessions of your own, you can join the Patreon club. More information, links below. First kind of breath work is what we might consider breath mechanics, or we might call it corrective breath work. And this is addressing the fact that usually, the vast majority of people have dysfunctional breathing patterns. What we don't often realize is that those dysfunctional breathing patterns are causing us to have more stress in our nervous system than what we would have to. So when we put our breathing mechanics back into sort of a more natural rhythm and flow, when we have the right muscles firing at the right time and at the right order, when we learn to start to breathe through our nose instead of through our mouth, all those other things, take a look at my other videos or books if you'd like information on all that. When we start to see those things happen, we start to notice that we have less experience of stress, less anxiety, because we're not feeding back into this whole feedback loop. So that is one of the things that breath work will do. That is functional. That's the breath mechanics, the corrective breath work. That's what that's all about. The second is autonomic nervous system regulation. So this is where you might have heard of box breathing, or you might have heard of, breathing techniques, right? So here's a breathing technique for stress and things like that, things that you can do in the moment, things that you can do first thing in the morning, things that you can do before you go to bed to help you get a better night's sleep. These are things that send messages to our nervous system to help us calm down or to relax, or in some cases to help us sort of gear up some more energy. There's a little path over here. I'm thinking I'm going to go on the path. Occasionally you got to take a path less traveled, right? We have corrective breath work, really looking at function, looking at form, looking at how our breathing sort of interfaces breath to breath. The other is autonomic nervous system regulation. Of course, they go well together, right? So if you learn one, it's if you learn how to do the autonomic nervous system regulation, definitely learn how to get your breath mechanics under control. It's kind of cool. But having said that, what is the third one? The third one is what we might consider to be integrative breath work. This is the kind of breath work that a lot of times people just, they see it on YouTube or on Instagram or something like that. The people that are they're hyperventilating, they're having sort of more of a mystical experience, maybe a psychedelic experience. And we call this integrative breath work. And the goal here, and this is something, if you want to nerd out, come to one of my lives or read one of my books or reach out to me. But the goal of integrative breath work is sort of to work through our emotional space, have an altered state, so a non-ordinary state experience. And oftentimes this allows us to process emotions and memories in a way that we couldn't do otherwise. It puts us in a state where we're more vulnerable, but in a safe space, it allows us to process things like we couldn't normally do. So those are the three things that are really important, just as if you're a beginner in the world of breath work, just to kind of get a handle on. Breath work is not just one thing. There are three major things that breath work will do. And sometimes people just focus on one. Others, like myself, I focus on all three. And my breathworkers in this breathwork school of the language of breath, we focus on all three because they go all together. They're all working with the same mechanisms, just in different ways. So I appreciate the question. Thank you so much for reaching out. If you would like to dive in to breathwork and join the Breath Club on Patreon, take a look below. For just about $5 a month, you can get into this and you get all my full catalog of breathwork sessions, plus a lot of other benefits and some interaction time with me as well. So take a look at that. Thanks to all the patrons who support my channel, and I will see you next week.